Hey y'all, it's Lynn Howard. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell to get your notifications, and give it a thumbs up, if you actually like the video. Today we're going to talk about pros and cons of having a pen name, a pseudonym. I do have a pen name. My name is actually a combination of my real name, kind of, sort of. My given name is the same as a adult movie star. I don't know how else to say that. It's not a kid-friendly name, and I don't want people Googling it and coming up and finding some X-rated videos. So I chose to have a pen name. There are a few different reasons why someone would have a pen name. You want the anonymity. Maybe you write in a genre that you don't want connected with your professional life. Maybe you're a kindergarten teacher and you write erotica. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with writing erotica. However, sometimes, parents might get a little weird if they go and check you out and find out that you're writing, some smut. Another reason might be the genre you're writing in. Maybe you want to keep it more gender neutral when it comes to things like YA or sci-fi. We're still kind of living in a world where boys don't want to read books by women, and maybe some women are a little turned off by books written by men, which is weird because hello, Nicholas Sparks. He writes all those, well, he doesn't call them romance books, he calls them relationship books, but they're romance books, we all know it. But names like J.K. Rowling or J.D. Robb, those are gender neutral, and they're perfect for the urban fantasy, the horror, or, YA books, because, a lot of males and boys and teenagers tend to read those books. Maybe eventually we can move out of that where, boys don't care, and I think we're finally starting to get to that point, but for now, a gender neutral name, and actually it would work for any of the, the genres. I think even a man can do a very gender neutral name for romance and it would still cross over. Another reason would be your type of name. Maybe it is something extremely, common like Amy Smith, Susan Smith, Jane Smith. You want people to be able to Google your name and find you. Something as common as Jane Smith, there's going to be 1,000 of those. Really. Something as common as something like Jane Smith, there's going to be 1,000 of them that come up. You want them to be able to remember your name. Another reason with the name issue might be something that's extremely hard to spell. Now, there are names like Janet Ivanovich. That's not an easy name to spell, but we know how to find her. Now, when you're first starting out, if your name is difficult to spell, not saying it's a bad deal, it might be hard for people to find you on Google or Amazon or Barnes & Noble. So even if you change up just a letter for a phonics reason, it might be easier for people to find you. Or if you want to stick with that and just use that as your brand, that's also okay. But because sometimes there are several different spelling of names, Daily, for instance, Daily as in day, D-A-I-L-Y, Daily as in D-A-I-L-E-Y, D-A-L-Y. You want something not specifically unique, but a little bit easier to find. Another reason for a pen name is anonymity. And it goes back to, you don't want people to find you. You want to keep it separate from who you are, or maybe you're extremely shy. You don't want people to know who you are. That's the fun part about being an author. We don't have to put our faces on anything. We don't have to put them on the jackets. We don't have to do any of the conventions if we don't want. We can stay completely anonymous. Really? Maybe you don't want your family to know that you're writing something like erotica. I don't see where they would probably have a problem with romance, although my mother won't read my books because they do have sex scenes. I'm a romance writer, and I'm that type of romance writer. I do write sex scenes. I do actually have a top secret pen name for erotica, and the only people that know about it are my husband, my best friend, and my editor. No one else on this planet knows about that pen name. And I chose to keep it that way. I'm not ashamed that I write erotica. It's just my own little secret. Another reason you might choose a pen name is a branding issue. Something as cool as Danielle Steele would be super, super easy to go ahead and segue off into branding. Then you've got Joanna Penn. Come on, P-E-N-N. How cool is that name? And then she's got the Creative Pen. Sometimes names like that are easy to brand. And then you can get things, like LynnHowardBooks.com. Might be a little harder to get JaneSmith.com. I'm sure there's probably JaneSmith.com, .net, .org at this point. But if you have something just slightly more unique, it is a little bit easier to brand those on Facebook, on social media, on the websites. Someone actually brought this one up to me recently, and I hadn't really thought about it because I've used a pen name for so long. When you are signing books, and trust me, when you sell a paperback in person, they're going to want you to sign the book. If you sign with your real name, they now have your legal signature. Now you can get creative and do extra swiggles and stuff, but if you're signing Lynn Howard, how are they going to go and take that and sign for a house or a car or a credit card, because she doesn't exist? She kind of does. Like I said, it's kind of a mix of parts of my name. Let's just leave it at that. But you can't copy a faux signature, a fake name. Now, some of the cons are going to be obscurity. If you're coming out as Lynn Howard, I had to rebrand myself completely as Lynn Howard because that is not my name. I have lots and lots of people on my Facebook, but I've had to start over as this new pen name because I did rebrand myself from one genre to the other. I just decided I enjoyed romance way better than what I was writing. I was having way more fun. So I did rebrand myself. So I've had to start from scratch. So when you're doing that, your friends and family don't know who Lynn Howard is unless I have been known to put it in my Facebook name, title too. So it says my name, hashtag, parentheses, Lynn Howard. I also have a fan page. I have a fan group, shifters group. I don't know what you would call that, but it is harder when you do change your name and try to rebrand yourself if you're not going for full anonymity to start over from scratch, because your mom and dad can't go brag about my daughter Jane Smith is writing books. Someone goes to Google it. Jane Smith is an accountant and this and that. It's harder to start from scratch. Spelling. We talked about that before. If your name is difficult, when you're coming up with a pen name, if you are trying to rebrand yourself, make sure it's something that people can spell, even if there is different variations, like we said daily earlier. Make sure that it's not a name that no one's going to figure out. There's no phonic way to do it, things like that. Even Janet Ivanovich, you could figure that out just by doing the phonics. It might misplace a letter here or there, but it's still going to pop up. Pick a name that people can spell. That sounds so weird. I think we should all be able to use our names, but obviously not everybody can spell, not everybody can pronounce all the names. I would love to see more ethnic names in there, but again, there are so many different spellings for so many different names. I mean, Lynn, how many ways are there to spell that? With an E at the end? I mean, it's kind of it's an easy name. Howard. There's one way to spell it. Everyone knows that last name, Howard the Duck. Thank you very much. Those are just a few pros and cons that I could think of off the top of my head, obviously, for the day. I think later this week we're going to do some pros and cons. Well, not this week. It'll be next Friday because this video will be up on Friday. My videos are Fridays. You're rambling. Just a reminder, I do have a website at www.lynnhowardbooks.com. You can check out my books. You can check out some merchandise, which I can't find the shirt that I just bought for myself. So I'm wearing my Dunder Mifflin because I'm an office freak. You can check out some writing tips. Usually the YouTube videos are up on there as well. And every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central, I do a live reading of one of my books. And unfortunately, someone mistook it for a medium live reading. So an author reading of one of my books. We're currently on the second book in the Big River series pack. I would love to see you guys there. Bye.